Wagwan people. Alright, so I want to talk about Cuphead from the perspective of people who don't have a lot of time to play video games. You know, if you're somebody who works full time, or if you go to school, or you're doing other things that prevent you from playing video games as much as you would like, you know, is Cuphead worth getting if you don't have a lot of time to play video games? So if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of time to play video games, then this is for you. Or, you know, if you do have a lot of time to play video games, and hopefully we'll get something out of it too, and try and cover a few things if I can. So is Cuphead worth getting? So let me say this first of all. I was looking forward to Cuphead from back when I heard about it, which was I think like a couple of years ago at least, and it just drew me in. It looks incredible, everything about it. The 1930s art style was amazing to me. Being somewhat of a fan of, you know, the 1930s era, musicians like Cab Calloway and, you know, that sort of thing, the old school jazz, boogie woogie. Now anyway, got it on Windows 10 only because I didn't know it was actually on Steam. I would have probably bought it on Steam if I had known it was on Steam, but I got it on Windows 10. Got the game. I think I downloaded it about the day after it released. I played it from there. Played for, you know, couple of weeks or so, I think, and I got all the way up to the second world, to the beginning of the second world, and that's where I kind of tapped out to the coquina clutch. At that point, it's like, you know, the bank statement got me in. It's like, no, tap, you know, it was like that. So yeah, I've played a little bit. I haven't played the whole game. I didn't complete the whole game. I was not good enough to beat the whole game, at least not yet. My view on the difficulty of the game is that it is a very, very difficult game, no doubt about it, but it never feels cheap. It never feels like it's just poor game design or, you know, bad controls or anything like that. You know, it feels like it's a hard game because they purposely designed it to be a hard game and it's to challenge you. But when you fail, you know why you're failing. You know what you need to do, you can figure out fairly quickly anyway, for the most part. And it just becomes about you know, getting good enough, you know, developing enough dexterity to actually beat the boss and progress and move on and so on. And that's where the time is going to be spent, because the bosses are difficult. It is mostly a boss rush. I think most people probably know that already by now, but just in case you don't, it is mostly a boss rush. There are some platforming elements, but it is mostly boss battles that you go from one boss to another, and as you progress through the game, and bosses get harder and harder as you go, as you might imagine. So yeah, they start off pretty hard and they just get harder. That's how it goes. So if you're somebody who does not have a lot of time to play video games, is it worth getting? And I think it's going to come down to a few things. So it depends on what type of gamer you are, you know, what you are looking for in a gaming experience. So if you're somebody who likes to complete your games, I'd say it's probably not worth getting if you don't have a lot of time for it, because although the game, at least from what I've heard, the game's not very long. Although the game might not be very long, because it is that difficult, you might find that you'll spend hours playing one boss and still not beat it, and then by the time you get another chance to play a game, which could be, you know, a week later, or maybe a few days later, or a week later, or something like that, you know, you spend another few hours on that same boss. You have to refresh your skills, and then you're still not good enough to beat it. You have to come back the next time, so you might be spending weeks, months even, just on one boss, and then still not beat it, because you know, how much skills involved trying to beat that particular boss. So you might be playing this game for months, years even, before you finally maybe beat the game. So if you're somebody who likes to complete the game, in particular, if you're somebody who likes to complete your games in a, you know, fairly reasonable amount of time, all things considered, then yeah, it's probably not worth picking up, because it's just going to frustrate you that you didn't complete it. If you're somebody who just likes to torture yourself and not overly concerned about completing the game, if you just enjoy, you know, really, really difficult games, you just enjoy the challenge, then absolutely, it's an incredible game in my opinion. As far as the story goes, I say you don't have to worry too much about, you know, forgetting parts of the story, and then by the time you come back to it, you know, you're not you can't remember what was going on, and then you might not get references so much, because, you know, that sort of thing. The story's not that deep. It's not that deep. I wouldn't worry too much about forgetting parts of the story. The story is pretty basic, and it kind of reminds you of the story a little bit every time you turn it on anyway, which is just we're gambling. They gambled in the devil's casino. They lost to the devil, and they have to try and get their soul back. And the way they have to get their soul back is by collecting the souls from other Ink World people, Ink World fruits and vegetables and other things, and then then those are the bosses. You beat the bosses, you collect a soul, or collect a contract rather, as it's called, and that's pretty much it. That's the story. You can't even call it spoilers. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. That being said, I didn't beat the game, so maybe the story does get much deeper than that. Maybe it's all multi-layered and souls within a souls. I don't know. Maybe it's like the inception of video game stories. I don't know. But from what I've played of it, I doubt the story gets much deeper than that. But if you've beaten the game, or if you've gotten further in the game, you can let me know in the comments whether I'm right or wrong on that particular aspect. But yeah, I don't think it's going to confuse anybody too much if you haven't played it for a while, and by the time to come back to it, you're like, oh man, what's going on here? No, I doubt that's going to happen. It is just going to be down to it's just going to come down to the skill of the game, the skill of yourself rather, and whether you're good enough to beat the game and how much patience you have with it. I'd say you need to be pretty patient with this game. If you don't have a lot of time to play video games, you need to be very, very patient with it. If you're somebody who is impatient, it's just not going to happen. So that's what I think of it. If you enjoy the challenge and you could accept that it's going to take you a while to get through it, you could be spending weeks, months, years even on this game, then sure, absolutely worth getting. If you're somebody who doesn't really care much, but you just want to get through a game in a fairly reasonable amount of time, then yeah, maybe leave this one alone. Or if you're just that interested in playing a game, even if it is for a short while, yeah, go for it, man. It's an incredible game. Incredible game. Let me say that. Let me use a little pun there. Incredible game. Incredible. Mr. Levy. Now, let me know if you remember that one. Mr. Levy pun them. Okay. Anyway, so let me say this real quick, though, just before I end the video, just about the difficulty, because there was a little bit of controversy surrounding this a little while back, and I did talk about this a little bit in another video, but let me just say this here for now, as I'm talking more about Cuphead. As far as, if you play it on the easy difficulties, you can't progress through the game, you can't beat the game, because it doesn't only let you get so far. You need to play it on at least regular to progress forward. Some people are a bit pissed about that because they're like, oh, well, if we play the game, we should beat the game. I'm okay with that. I am totally fine with that as a game design aspect. I'm totally fine with that. I think game developers have absolutely every right to make the games as they see fit, and if they feel like, we want this to be a challenging game and we want to reward people who are willing to put up with that challenge, then sure, go for it. Make it so that you could only progress if you play on certain difficulty levels. I'm totally fine with that. What it comes down to is that you get out of the game what you are willing to put into it, and I guess that's kind of the theme of this whole video as well. You get out of the game what you want to put into it, and if you're willing to put in the time and the effort and the energy and everything else that it's going to take, then you will get a lot out of it. If you're not, then you won't. It's like that. It's like this. It's like that. It's like that. And but yeah, it's like that. You get out of it what you're willing to put into it. So I'm totally fine with that. Some games are super easy where they practically play themselves. I'm fine with that too. I don't particularly care for games like that myself personally. I'll probably avoid something like that, but some people love them. Go for it. Me, I'd rather have something a bit more challenge to it. Cuphead though, that might be a little bit too much of a challenge for me right now. I like a challenge I can do. At least the Simpsons said that once. I wanted a challenge I can do. I feel like that with Cuphead. I want a challenge I can do. But yeah, I'll try and get back to it at some point. Maybe not now because I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins right now, and also Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Those are the games that are taking up my attention span at the moment for the time that I do have to play games. So God willing, eventually I'll get back to it, and we'll see how much skill I have to refresh on to get past those damn bosses, and then it just gets harder from there. But anyway, that's what I think of Cuphead. One last thing though before I end this video. If you have noticed that the sound sounds a little bit different to my usual videos, is because I'm recording this on my phone. I'm at my jobby job right now, taking a little break, just Skyping off work because I'm gangster like that. I'm not really Skyping actually, it's just a break. So if my boss hears that, it is actually a break. But yeah, just that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to maximize my time as much as possible because I, working full time and trying to blah 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 blah. It just helps if I can record this now and then I could minor edits later and then upload it. But let me know what you think of the audio, if you're okay with this audio, if you think it's just too terrible and I should just do it properly once I get the time. Let me know what you think of that as well. But anyway, If you've played Cuphead, let me know what you think. If you're somebody who has a lot of time to play video games, let me know what you think. If you don't have a lot of time to play video games, let me know what you think as well. If you got anything out of this, or if you have anything to add or anything like that, let me know. And if you like this video, give it a like and share it amongst your friends. If you did not like it, then give it a dislike and share it amongst your enemies. Either way, let me know your reasons in the comments. Subscribe if you have not already. Thank you for watching, and until whenever, if ever, get ready!